Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2022-23 season. My name is Dan and today we are going to do a video for Game Week 30 looking at the best team that you want to go for the remainder of the season. This is also going to be really good for wildcarders, but not just that. We're also going to talk about planning and strategy going forward depending on what chips you have with a couple of variations, just so you can see what kind of team we'll be looking to go with for the remainder of the season. So guys, if you do enjoy this one, please do leave a like, please do subscribe if you're new around here, but without further ado, let's have a little look at the calendar. Alright, so this is the FPL calendar for Game Week 30 through to 38. I have posted this as well as a version with fixture difficulty rating on my Twitter account at FPL Mate if you want to go check it out and download it. But for now, we all have on screen the lay of the land. And what you can really see right here is the blanks and the doubles. So Game Week 32, we have got blanks for Brighton, Chelsea, Man City and Manchester United. That's going to be a little bit difficult to navigate if you are without a free hit, I guess. We've got Game Week 34, which is a really nice double there for teams like Brighton, Fulham, Liverpool, Man City, Man United and West Ham. So really we do want to focus a lot of our attention on Manchester United, Man City, Brighton and Liverpool there as well potentially. Three of which also double in 37, Brighton, Man City and Man United, and also we have got Brighton potentially doubling there in 35 or 36. They'll have a double game week against Newcastle. So we really do want to focus on the double game week teams. A lot of people who do have their free hit have been asking me recently, when is the best time to free hit? Do we really need to free hit in Game Week 32? Should we maybe be free hitting in Game Week 34 instead? I feel like there is a possibility to do that, but the thing is really, a lot of the players that we want to own right now are players we want to own for more than just Game Week 34. When you're using a free hit, you do really want to use it in a situation where you're picking players that you don't want to own long term. They're going kind of 1 week punts in many ways, and I don't think that is the case with Brighton players, for example. You really want them in your team tripled up permanently. In the case of Man City and Man United, you're probably going to want a permanent triple up as well, taking you from the double in 34 to 37, because you want to be able to take advantage of both of those doubles. So therefore, I really would recommend the free hit in Game Week 32, although I'm not saying that's the only way to play FPL. I just feel like there's a much higher upside to do it that way. So let's first of all have a look at a team that you might be rocking with from Game Week 30 onwards if you do have a free hit and you're going to play it in Game Week 32. Yeah, so let's have a look at this team and then we'll make a few tweaks for those of you who don't have a free hit. But let's start off in goal with Ederson. So Ederson is actually probably a little bit of a controversial pick, a controversial goalkeeper to go for right now. I do understand that, but Man City's still leading the lines in terms of their defensive numbers. And if we're trying to figure out how to get in all of the best double game week defenders in, it's difficult to pick a goalkeeper and who you should go as your goalkeeper. You could go for De Gea, you could go for Steele. Those are the two real main goalkeepers I think that you'd go for in a double game week. But the thing is with Ederson is that he's nailed on, and if you want to triple up on Man City, and I do feel like there is really going to be a good opportunity to triple up on Man City just because of their double game week in 34 is against Fulham and West Ham, which is a really nice double actually. So I think we do want to go for at least one Man City defender. Nathan Ake would be the decent outfield one, but Ederson is nailed on, and there's lots of other defenders from the other double game week teams that you perhaps prefer to go for than Ake, with a little bit higher ceiling, better chances of attacking returns, etc. So therefore, in a way, it does make sense to go for Ederson as your goalkeeper. Let me know what your thoughts are on that one. Moving on into defense, guys, we have got Trippier. So Trippier is just an essential player that I think everyone's just got to own right now. I feel like Newcastle is in some really good form at the moment as well, and making that real push to get that Champions League football for this season. So good luck to them. I know Trippier is going to be a huge part of that. We've got Ben Chilwell here, plays against Wolves. Chilwell is a player who's been super unlucky not to get FPL returns recently, so really expecting him to return soon and finally come good on the promise that he showed a few weeks ago when all of us bought him in. I definitely feel like he is a player that we should be sticking with. We're going to complete the defence with Tyrone Mings against Nottingham Forest this game week, so nice opportunity for a clean one this week, and Fulham in game week 33 as well, so that's pretty nice as well. So we've got a couple of opportunities for clean sheets. Nice cheap defender. Maybe a bench player for some game weeks, which is absolutely fine. That's why he's that nice cheap price, but we will stick him in there anyway. Into midfield, I've gone for Saka here, which I know a lot of people sold Saka recently, but moving forward, Arsenal are just in such good form at the moment. I feel like Arsenal will beat Liverpool, and then they've got West Ham, who just conceded 4 goals against Newcastle, and if Newcastle can score 4 goals against West Ham, then I'm sure Arsenal can as well. So previously, I did consider this a bit of a weaker fixture, but at the same time, you do have to rate Arsenal. You have to appreciate what Arsenal are doing right now, and I feel like there is going to still be an opportunity for some attacking returns, and if anyone's going to get them, you know, we know Saka is super nailed on when he's not ill, which he's not anymore, fingers crossed, and he's going to do quite well there in those two games, and it's a potential make weight for some players later on. We maybe look to move Saka out at a later date, but I think he's fine to own right now. I think Arsenal players are absolutely fine to own over the next 3 game weeks, or if you're free hitting in game week 32, it's more like 2 game weeks really. And we've got Marcus Rashford up next, who is kind of playing as essentially a striker at the moment, which is really, really nice to see. Everton, I think, he'll do very well against. Nottingham Forest is where the big points are going to come though, because at that point, we're going to see the likes of Eriksen and Casemiro come back into this Manchester United team, and we know how good Manchester United can be when all of those players are playing. So yeah, Rashford, definitely a really good player, one of those players who is kind of essential at this point. Next up, we've got Jack Grealish, so a little bit of a differential here, but I definitely feel like if we're going to go for a triple up on Manchester City, Grealish has got to be one of the favourites, really. 6.9 million, so really, really decent price. He is getting a lot of FPL returns per start recently, and he does seem to be reasonably nailed on. Does seem like he's in the form of his life since joining Man City. Not really seen Grealish play as well as he has been doing recently, and he seems to have locked down that left wing position, which is really, really helpful to see. 2 really nice fixtures, Southampton and Leicester in the short term, and like I say, come to game week 34, Fulham and West Ham in that double game week. Really nice double for him, really nice double for Man City, and I feel like that this kind of differential could really pay off for you. And finally, we're going to finish off this wildcard team with Kaoru Mitoma. So I'm going to go for him over some of the other Brighton midfielders in this particular team, just because the fixtures are difficult. We've got Spurs away, Chelsea away, and I do consider both of those to be difficult fixtures, and I know some people might disagree with that, but if we're going to call any fixtures difficult for an attacker, we have to say some fixtures are difficult for attackers. You can say that Spurs and Chelsea are in bad form, but generally speaking, both teams have been defending reasonably well. Kind of hard to break down. Aside from the 3 goals conceded against Southampton for Spurs, for example, they're only really conceding 1 goal per game, and that's pretty consistent since the World Cup break. So they're not really a team you score a lot of goals against. However, when you do have a tricky fixture, sometimes you are reliant on a player who has a bit of magic. And I feel like out of the Brighton attackers, although Kaoru Mitoma does not have as good kind of underlying numbers, doesn't get as many chances to score, he's definitely one of those players who's capable of that moment of magic. So in the more difficult games, I actually prefer him than some of the other guys, March and McAllister. In fact, out of the 3, I'll probably prefer Mitoma to all 3 of them, and then probably March, and then finally McAllister, who has been a little bit dependent on those penalties and could potentially sit a little bit deeper with Enciso. Is that his name? Enciso? I can't remember. The new guy who came out of nowhere from Brighton. I swear they've just got an everlasting conveyor belt of South American superstars in their ranks. But yeah, I feel like that there is an opportunity for McAllister to maybe come a little bit deeper, and he is reliant on those penalties. So yeah, for me, in terms of ranking the Brighton midfielders for this game week, it would be Mitoma, March, and then McAllister. Anyway, let's move up front, guys. We've got Erling Haaland. He is back in training, doing full training, so that is really good to see. And when he is available and fit, you know, you've got to have him in your team no matter what your situation is, pretty much. Yeah, Southampton and Leicester, the next 2 fixtures, really, really nice fixtures for him. And then obviously we've got the double game weeks beyond that, where you will be looking to captain Erling Haaland. And game week 34, because of that really nice double for Man City, West Ham and Fulham, as I keep saying, that is going to be an opportunity for those of you guys who still have your triple captain left. So if you do still have that triple captain, I would really, really consider playing it in game week 34 on Erling Haaland. Next up, we've got Harry Kane, who I feel like you've got to keep in just because they've got this Bournemouth at home fixture in next game week, which is really nice. And he's been so consistent, you would back him to score against Brighton as well. Brighton have been known to concede chances, to concede goals. I know they kept a clean sheet against Bournemouth, but even in that game, they did concede a hell of a lot of chances. 3 goals conceded against Brentford the game before as well. So I do feel like there is still going to be a situation where Brighton will concede chances, and Harry Kane is going to be at the forefront of that, really, isn't he? If anyone's scoring goals at Spurs, it's going to be Kane. Everyone else, is pretty much mudded at this point in terms of FPL assets, but Kane remains consistent. And finally, we've got Ollie Watkins, another really, really good shout for this game week. The player in probably the best form in the entire Premier League right now is Ollie Watkins. He's been doing so well, taking so many shots, the centre of everything that Villa are doing right now, and it's really, really exciting to have that FPL asset that is just doing so well at the moment. So definitely got to be a player, one of the top priority players for this game week. Should score really well against Nottingham Forest at home. This is a really, really good fixture for him, and then there's a couple of okay fixtures after that as well. Bringing up the bench, guys, we've got Iverson, 3.8 million goalkeeper. Can't really go too wrong. We've played our bench boost. I'm guessing most of us have at this point, so we don't really need a backup goalkeeper. And hey, Iverson is actually playing anyway, so he can come in and deputise in those situations where you really need him to. We've got Solly March on the bench here. Like I say, do prefer to play Kaldu Mitama, but it is important that we do have those Brighton players ready in place for their 3 double game weeks from game week 34 to 37, because that's going to be an insane period for those Brighton players. That's why we've got Pervis Estupiñán as well, who provides a little bit of attacking threat. We've got Luke Shaw on the bench here as well. You could, looking at how available he is, it kind of is up to you whether you want to actually start Shaw or put him higher up on your bench. We're not 100% sure if he's going to be available or not, but he's looking reasonably positive. We know at least that he's not a long-term injury, so that is a good thing there. So yeah, Luke Shaw is kind of an optional one, whether you're going to start him or not, or where you're going to put him on your bench, but I still definitely would recommend having him in your squad, because having that second Manchester United player is going to be pretty important indeed. Now, let's have a look at some suggested... actually, let's do the captaincy first. We'll put the vice-captain on Rashford and captain on Erling Haaland. There you go. That makes a lot of sense, I think. So yeah, Haaland captain, Rashford vice captain. I think those are probably the 2 safest bets for your captaincy. You don't really want to bet against Erling Haaland unless we have confirmation that he's out, but I don't think that's going to happen. Bringing up suggested transfers, guys. Got a few different options here for you, and it's kind of up to you in many ways, and you don't have to do it this way, but just thought I would throw this one out here because I know a few people will appreciate this. But if you were to go for the transfer route of Chilwell to Trent, and you know, you have that ready. You know, Chilwell's playing against Brighton in game week 31, so not the greatest fixture for Chilwell. And then you play your free hit, of course. You have to make a transfer in 31, don't you? Because you use it or lose it. You can't carry a transfer beyond a free hit. And then after that, no transfers in 33, and maybe a double transfer of Kane and Saka to Darwin and Salah to triple up on Liverpool for their double game week. And this will actually give you 11 double game week players in game week 34. I know, that is pretty impressive, and you can even use more transfers beyond that to get, you know, triple. Again, in game week 37, you could even get a full 11 of double game week players. You could actually go mad and get so many double game week players kind of using this route. And the key really is getting those Man City players in, because I know a lot of us have Brighton and Manchester United anyway. A lot of us are getting Erling Haaland. If we could just get the extra 1 or 2 Man City players, get some Liverpool players in there as well, then we are going to have you know, a lot of double game week players in 34 and then in 37 as well, as we maybe pivot to certain other players. So yeah, there really is huge opportunities here. Of course, this is just an option. If you did go with the 11 double game week players, it would mean benching Trippier against Southampton in game week 34, which I'm not fully convinced by. But yeah, there is certainly something you could think about, something you could do. And I think something like this, even if you don't go triple up on Liverpool, which I would totally understand, particularly if you're free hitting, you don't need Liverpool players as much, but it is definitely an option for you. And maybe we do need to kind of work out how to get Salah, because Salah is going to be quite a nice pick at the very least. But there's different options there. This team value is only 100.5, so most of you guys are going to be able to afford this, and a lot of you guys are going to have way more money than this as well, so you may even be able to upgrade some of these positions as well. But we need to have a look at what a team might look like if you are not free hitting in game week 32. If you don't have that free hit at your disposal, what kind of team would you be rolling with? Okay, so without a free hit, we've taken the team value down just a little bit, and we've made 3 changes. So first of all, I've gone for De Gea in goal, and I feel like we've gone for De Gea in goal because I like him a little bit more than Edison if you can only pick one and you're not allowed any other players from their respective teams, I guess. But I do think I slightly do prefer De Gea, and it mitigates the risk of having Luke Shaw. And in this situation, we literally can't have as many Manchester United, Man City, and well, Chelsea players as well, to be fair. We are a lot more limited with the kind of players we can actually go for. Brighton Brighton as well. And we have to get those players, a lot of those players in later on. So in that case, maybe it would be wise to go for De Gea to have that Manchester United cover and not worry too much, because De Gea does make a few saves as well at Manchester United. Don't think they're too bad of a defence. We have got in midfield 2 changes. So we've brought in Martinelli and Barnes for the likes of Grealish and Mitoma. And I feel like that is fine, just because both of these, Martinelli and Barnes, both have fixtures in game week 32. So you cover yourself for those blanks and you have a full 11. This whole team has a full starting 11 for game week for game week 32, which is good. It's what we need, really. If we don't have a free hit, you want a full 11 for game week 32. So yeah, this is pretty much it. And there's a few changes on the bench. We have got Botman and Konate are brought in because, like I say, Liverpool players are going to be your friends a little bit more. One reason why I haven't included Salah in this team, ordinarily I think I would, but I feel like the difficulty is that Salah has not been training as far as I've seen today. So I'm very cautious about recommending him. Also, not too keen on him against Arsenal. So if you don't already have Salah, I don't think I would be bringing him in quite yet. But I would be looking to get him in very, very soon. Possibly game week 31, if not definitely game week 32. So, in the suggested transfers, guys, I put Erling Haaland and Barnes out for Darwin and Salah. I think that's going to be possible for a lot of people. So that does give you the triple up on Liverpool that you need for game week 32, where they play against Nottingham Forest, which is a really, really nice fixture for them. And it does also make sure you have the triple Liverpool for the double game week. So Liverpool are a team that play in 32 and then double in 34, which is going to be really, really useful for those of you guys who do not have a free hit. Now, after that, this is what I'm suggesting. Kane out, Haaland in 33. So you still have both Salah and you have Haaland in your team there. Nice double up with the 2 players with double game weeks in 34. And Martinelli out and Kaoru Mitoma in at that point. So you do have the Brighton players in ready for game week 34 as well for their double. Well, for their 3 doubles, I guess. But one thing I should say is that you could actually switch around those 2 transfers and actually do the Martinelli to Mitoma move in game week 33. Because in that game week, Arsenal in 33... Arsenal play against City, that's a tough one, and Mitoma plays against Forest, which is an easy one. But on the other hand, Haaland obviously plays against, he plays against Arsenal because I've just said that. So it is risky in a way going 1 extra week without Erling Haaland if you were to kind of use this transfer pattern. But at the same time, you do play the upside of the better fixtures in many ways. So if you don't think Haaland is going to bang against Arsenal, you could take him out in 32 to cover yourself and get the full team of 11 players in game week 32. And then you could just bring him in at game week 34. And maybe that's going to work for you. Or you could say, I'm not going to get Erling Haaland in at all in a wild card right now. I'm not even going to buy him back in because I don't think he's going to play in this game week. Or I don't think he's going to get many minutes. I think he's going to get rotated. And then he's got a blank. I think that's fine too. But I think that is very risky. So I feel like this strategy I'm showing you on screen right now is kind of the least risky of those kind of strategies. And I think it's going to work for a lot of people, of course, with your own little tweaks and your own little bits of spice that you like to add to the team as well. So those kind of teams, those kind of strategies is what I am currently looking at as potential options for the remainder of the season, particularly with view to target the double game weeks and the blanks. Hopefully that is really helpful for you. Yeah, and hopefully you can leave some feedback of what your kind of plans are if it's anything like this. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy, please do leave a like. Really helps out the channel so much. And do subscribe if you are new around here as well. Next time I'll see you will be on the deadline stream tomorrow morning. But do make sure you go check out the other content I've uploaded this week. There's a lot of really good videos there that are really going to help you make your decisions for Game Week 30. But aside from that, guys, thank you so much for watching once again. And I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.